from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Melinda Akilami.
Welcome. Tonight, INEC's conduct of rerun and by-elections in 26 states are judged largely peaceful as electoral umpires suspends exercise in one federal constituency in Akwa Ibom and two state constituencies in Enugu and Kano over hitches experienced in the states. Police arrest a 12-man gang that specializes in printing various denominations of local and foreign fake currencies in Gombe, vow to prosecute suspects. Supporters of the River State governor troop out in demonstration of their support for the governor following his election victory at the Supreme Court. And Iraq warns that retaliatory strikes by the United States on targets in the country and Syria will bring disastrous consequences for the Middle East.
And on business news tonight, the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance deny alleged plans to convert $30 billion domiciliary account deposits into Naira. And on sports news tonight, hosts Ivory Coast stun Mali to reach the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations in another dramatic escape.
Voters today trooped out in parts of the country to exercise their franchise in the rerun and by-elections conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. While the rerun polls were court-ordered and held at designated constituencies or polling units, the by-elections were conducted as a result of the death or resignation of elected members of the National and State Houses of Assembly. All the polls were conducted in 26 states, namely Ebonyi, Yobe, Kebbi, Lagos, Ondo, Taraba, Benue, Borno, Kaduna, Plateau, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Cross River, Delta, Enugu, Jigawa, Katsina, Adamawa, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Kano, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, Sokoto, and Zamfara. Low voter turnout, shortage of materials, and violence characterized the elections in parts of northern Nigeria, especially Kano, where there were cases of vandalism and disruption of the process. However, the exercise was peaceful in Bauchi, Yobe, and Adamawa, amongst other states in the region.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is conducting by-elections for 3 constituencies in the Kano State House of Assembly. They are Rimi Ado Tofa State Constituency, Kuragarin Malam State Constituency, and Kunchi Sanyawa State Constituency. The exercise is holding in 67 polling units across the 3 constituencies, and it started peacefully. However, it turned rowdy when thugs invaded a polling unit in Rimi Ward in Tofa local government area of the state. Another disruption was recorded in Kunchin Tanyawa constituency. Though the police made some arrests, the electoral body was unable to continue with the exercise in the area.
The process was disrupted. Thugs took control of the election materials, took our staff hostage. We were there. We rescued our staff. And INEC, in its typical decisive manner, has taken a stand on that, and the election in Kunchi had been suspended by the national headquarters.
In other states, the elections were conducted peacefully.
Everything is going on very well. People are orderly. The crowd is fairly large. And I'm satisfied because we started dot on time.
The situation is generally very much excellent. And as you can see, this is the biggest one of the biggest polling units in all the total of 12 that is the election is ongoing in them. And the situation is very relatively calm. People are just doing what is expected of them.
Though it was largely peaceful in some states, there were reports of low turnout of voters.
From all indication, the process has so far been peaceful. But I think there's something to say about turnout. In my opinion, it appears very low, even though one cannot reach a conclusion.
The area has been calm. The election is being conducted peacefully. We have recorded no incidents, and we still move to the Gaza area and and so many other areas.
Around this area,
An incident of shortage of voting materials was recorded in polling unit 052 in Rockhaven, Zaria Road of Jos North local government area of Plateau State during the elections for Plateau North senatorial seat and Bassa Jos North federal constituency.
They gave us complete senatorial ballot papers, but they didn't give us House of Representatives at first. But later on, they gave us 100 ballot papers, which the electorate agreed that nobody was to cast the vote, their votes, except the ballot paper was complete, which we've been making calls to SPOs, all the people that we can reach out to, for them to help us gather the accurate leaflets to bring to us. And the only thing they will tell us is that they are on their way, they'll bring things to us. And we've been here since morning, and they've not really said anything.
The elections eventually did not take place in the polling unit.
Here in the South, voters also trooped out in their numbers to exercise their civic responsibility as they participated in the polls. While it all went smooth in some areas, the story was not quite the same in others, especially in Enugu State.
The rerun at by-elections exercise kicked off as early as 8 a.m. across the designated polling units in states in the southern region of the country. In Lagos, southwest Nigeria, security presence is very much visible on the road. In Surulere Constituency 1, the only area where by-election is taking place to elect the candidate to replace the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, in the House of Representatives.
We are coming out to vote in March. We are trying to mobilize people to come here and vote.
So far, everything is okay. Everything is good, fine. With the by-election, everything is okay. People are out. We thank God. But inshallah, we pray for goodness at the end of the day.
Mr. Gbajabiamila is confident of a peaceful exercise and assures the people of the president's effort in fixing the economic hardship and insecurity facing the country.
Prior to now, I had always come here in the last 6-7 elections to vote for myself as a member of the House of Representatives. For the first time, I'm coming around to vote for somebody else. This government and this president came in. They knew that there was going to be a lot of difficulties. They put in the fundamentals, and that's what is important, the economic fundamentals that were not there. The subsidy was removed. Naira unification was a policy that we came up with, and these are things that should have been in place from day one, from Jump Street. And I believe with all those things in place, those are the fundamentals I'm talking about. CBN is reforming itself, and NPC as well. So those things, once those things are in place, then we begin to reap the benefits.
Meanwhile, residents of Shaki West in neighboring Oyo State are out for the exercise, and heavy security presence is also on ground to avert any form of electoral violence. Ebonyi is also one of the states where a senatorial by-election is holding. At some of the polling units visited, materials arrived early. One of the senatorial candidates expresses his confidence ahead of the eventual declaration of a winner.
So many people will come out to vote. They will show their willingness because during the campaign, a lot of massive support.
Okay.
I can see people are so eager, people are so interested. I don't imagine anything failing. Okay. I must be victorious. I'm very confident about it.
Some residents of Akwa Ibom, Mikono local government area of the state, also carrying out their civic responsibility and hail what they describe as a free and fair process.
So the election is, as I'm seeing right now, I believe that the election is free and fair.
As I'm seeing, it's going well. All the voters, the women and the youth, everything. They say that they used to do it in violence, but this time around, there's no violence, as I can see.
The exercise also holds across 4 local government areas in Cross River State. Indigents eligible to vote turn up in their numbers to exercise their franchise. However, in Enugu State, as elections take place in 3 local government areas of the state, voters in some areas appear unhappy with the conduct of the poll and call on INEC to address observed irregularities.
You said that is arrest us, that you want to conduct the election with the photocopy of the result. Where is the original? Where is the original? How can you be as your buyer? How can you be biased?
I came here, I was still asking my SPO in order to brief me, but what they have told me that the result is system, basically I can't find it. So once I find it, I have a solution. That's why we provide a replacement sheet to counter whatever they have before.
For PDP.
The outcome of the by-elections will reveal who takes the different seats of different constituencies across the states.
In the meantime, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, as winner of the Surulere Federal Constituency 1 by-election. Declaring the results, the returning officer for the by-election, Professor Simeon Adebayo, said that the APC candidate scored a total of 11,203 votes. Mr. Fuad Laguda, a former APC chairman in Surulere local government area, replaces Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, who was appointed Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu in June last year. The electoral umpire has also announced the suspension of rerun elections in parts of Enugu, Kano, and Akwa Ibom states. This decision affects 2 polling units in Ini and Ikono Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom, where all election materials were carted away by hoodlums. The others are 8 polling units in Enugu South 1 State Constituency, where the original result sheets were not available for inspection before polls commenced, as well as all 10 polling units in Kunchi and Sayawa State Constituency in Kano. INEC has invited security agencies to investigate the incidents as it vows to thoroughly interrogate any breaches involving its officials, adding that further action for the affected constituencies will be made public after its meeting on Monday. To crime matters, in Gombe, the State Police Command has arrested a syndicate that specializes in printing and distributing various denominations of local and foreign counterfeit currencies. This came after the police received credible intelligence on the illicit activities of the 12-man gang. Sizable quantities of denominations of fake Naira notes and US dollars were found in their possession as exhibits. The police say the suspects will be charged to court. Meanwhile, not less than 55 people are reported to have been kidnapped by terrorists while escorting a bride to her matrimonial home in Damari Town, Sabuwa local government area of Katsina State. Although the police are yet to officially comment on the incident, a resident told Channels Television that it occurred on Thursday at about 8 p.m. He added that 3 security volunteers lost their lives in an attempt to rescue the victims. Apart from being an agrarian area, Sabuwa is one of the frontline local government areas grappling with activities of bandits and their informants. In part 2, after the break, Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja, John Cardinal Onayeko, urges the federal government to tackle the prevailing insecurity and economic downturn in the country more effectively. That's in a moment. Join us again. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. INEC's conduct of rerun and by-elections in 26 states are judged largely peaceful as electoral umpires suspend exercise in one federal constituency in Akwa Ibom and 2 state constituencies in Enugu and Kano is experienced in the states. Police arrest a 12-man gang that specializes in printing various denominations of local and foreign counterfeit currencies in Gombe, vow to prosecute suspects. Supporters of the River State Governor Fubara troop out in demonstration of their support for him following his election victory at the Supreme Court. And Iraq warned that the retaliatory strikes by the United States on targets in the country and Syria will bring disastrous consequences for the Middle East region. The Vice Chairman of the Nigeria Conference of Speakers, Mr. Adeoye Aribasoye, says there is need for more intelligence sharing and collaboration in tackling the security challenges facing the country. He stated this when he led a team of state and federal lawmakers representing affected communities in Ekiti State to commiserate with the people over the murder of 3 traditional rulers in Ekiti and Kwara States. Mr. Aribasoye, who is also the Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, regretted the incident, saying it shows that the issue goes beyond individual states or regions.
It's such an unfortunate incident that has happened, particularly that is even happening to our own royal fathers. 2 of them here in Ekiti State, 1 just last night in Kwara State. Then it therefore means that there is a need for cooperations among the sub-nationals and the central governments, that there is a need for synergy collaborations to ensure that we have good security architecture in place, and that the neighboring state should be able also to see how they can fashion to have joint task force, particularly to comb our forest, because some of these criminals, marauders, they hibernate within our forest. And I believe that we also need the local intelligence. We need local people to be part of this effort at also arresting this ugly trend, because you can't know my environment than I. And that is why we need the people within the communities to be part of this. It's, like I said, it requires an all-society approach.
Meanwhile, Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja, His Eminence John Cardinal Onayeko, is calling on the federal government to tackle the nation's challenge of insecurity and economic downturn more effectively. The Cardinal, who was speaking at a special mass to celebrate his 80th birthday in Abuja, criticized the government over the spate of kidnappings, banditry, and the fall of the Naira. Our correspondent, Sarah Achimugu, has this report.
The procession of priests across the Federal Capital Territory and other parts of the country signals the beginning of this special mass in honor of the Catholic Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja, His Eminence John Cardinal Onayeko, who is marking his 80th birthday. Is used to charge leaders and young Nigerians to strive towards fighting for the common good of the people.
As a bishop and cardinal, our celebrant has shown himself to be a very fair-minded person, a thoroughly global personality, a man who is not given to denominational or religious bigotry. He gets along very well with everyone from all walks of life and political or ideological persuasion. What is most striking about him is that he is unbelievably humble.
Prayers are offered for the celebrant and the nation.
For government leaders, that they may always work for equity, unity, and cooperation among those they govern, and so promote fraternity and peace. We pray, O Lord.
The Cardinal uses the occasion to speak on the state of the nation.
When you have a country where bad people seem to have a free time, it is terrible. When kidnappers can stay outside the village on the hill and be collecting ransom money, and our police tell us they can't find them. It's not possible. Something is wrong.
His position is backed by the Archbishop of Abuja Diocese, His Lordship, Bishop Ignatius.
Yes, our leaders should see that service is not about imposing yourself. We have been told how the Cardinal, with all his numerous activities, is still very humble and accountable. And his own motto is, let the will of God be done. Not his will, not the will of your party members, not the will of your family alone. Let the will of Nigerians be done. So he can be a great message to our politicians and political leaders.
The celebrant is hoping that the government can turn around the fortunes of the country for the better. Sarah Achimogu, Channels Television News.
In other stories, supporters of the Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara today trooped out to demonstrate their support for him, vowing that they would not be intimidated by the declaration by some of their leaders as wanted persons. The supporters under the aegis of Sim People's Network made this declaration during a rally in Port Harcourt, the state capital, to congratulate the governor on his election victory at the Supreme Court. The indigents of Akpeye, the ethnic nationality where Governor Fubara's chief of staff, Mr. Edison Ehie, comes from, also organized a protest against what they described as political intimidation of their son.
Taking to the streets of Port Harcourt, the River State capital, to celebrate the recent victory of Governor Siminalayi Fubara at the Supreme Court are members of the Sim People's Network, one of the governor's support groups. They moved from the Isaac Borough Park to the Government House under police protection to ensure that the rally is as peaceful as planned. However, beyond the excitement of the Supreme Court victory, the supporters are disappointed with the recent development where their leaders are now a subject of police investigations.
Rivers people can never be intimidated because this state belongs to all of us, and all of us have equal rights. Nobody is more Rivers than anybody. Yes. We all belong to this state. Yes. Even the people who are doing this thing, we are the ones that gave them the power before. Yes. But we have collected the power now.
Yes. Let them know that this is not the time for trouble. It's the time for governance. The election has come and gone. Everything about the election has been concluded. You know what is what even the Bible says. When John the Baptist was there, John the Baptist reigned. When Jesus came, Jesus took over. Today, we had our former governor. He has come, he has done his part, he's gone. Now we have another.
At the Government House, the President General of the support group assures Governor Fubara of their backing through thick and thin.
Many years we have been suffering, we have been crying, but we couldn't talk. But today, Fubara has come to clean our tears and make us happy. We have been enjoying since he came on board as a governor. All we are asking is that they should allow him do his work peacefully and lead River State to a greater height.
They are received by the duo of the Head of Service and the Commissioner for Youth Development.
I can see here that the youths are solidly behind their own governor, who happens to also be a very distinguished youth of this state. Is that not what you are looking for? We can go home and sleep with our foot and schools. That the governor is not resting in his schoolhouse. And we know that not just River State, not just Nigeria, the entire world is watching what is happening in River State. And that was why we all, in our entire formation, said that we want to thank the Supreme Court. We thank the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for seeing, upholding the truth. And that truth is what was set us free.
In Epeye, ethnic nationality where Governor Fubara's Chief of Staff, Edison Ehie, comes from, both the young and elderly march in Ahuada, the traditional headquarters, to protest against the alleged political intimidation of their son.
All this allegation that they said Edison on Edison is a false. Because he can't hurt a rat, he can't hurt a human being. He's a man of policy. He's a husband of widow.
The recent development appears to cast a shadow on the resolution of the political crisis in River State, as each day seems to witness a new twist to the issue.
Meanwhile, the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is calling for peace and unity and challenging traditional rulers to use their position to bring their communities together. Mr. Wike made this call in Buguma, the headquarters of Asari-Toro local government area, while attending the chieftaincy ceremony of the Commissioner for Works, Mr. George Kelly Alago, one of the 9 reappointed commissioners in the state government. Mr. Wike was accompanied by members of the House of Assembly and other political leaders.
This is our assignment, very serious assignment, to keep villages, to keep families together. It's not an easy task. So we are giving another honors task to keep the values, the culture of our people. These days, when education and innovation is trying to take away all our values and culture, it's a very big assignment, and I know they are able to the task. Look at the political class. Everybody is here from Poto to Degena to Asari-Toro. Shows that they have love for you. Before I arrived, which I did, I have to tell you that a lot of things are happening, and more things will happen. So please use your position for the interest of your people. Do not use your position to divide the community. Use it to unite them, use it to bring development. And I believe knowing you well, you will be writing.
Women in Gombe State say they are ready to contest in the upcoming election in the 11 local government areas, which has 2,988 polling units. They stated this during the swearing-in of the newly elected leaders of the National Council for Women's Societies, NCWS, Gombe State Chapter. The wife of the governor, Mrs. Fatima Inuwa Yaya, was decorated as the new patron for the state chapter by the council's national president, Lami Adamu.
By virtue of my post.
These are the newly elected leaders of the National Council for Women's Societies, Gombe State Chapter. While the council seeks to enhance the welfare of women and contribute to national development, it also seeks greater participation for women within the political space.
We're going to see the footprints of NCWS in Gombe because they've been sleeping, I would say, since 2016. But now we have new schools, and you know, even during election, women give their votes 75% in almost all the states. So we're going to be there, God willing. I will tell them to work hard. It shouldn't be like before. We should all wake up And I, as the new patron, inshallah, are going to do a lot. Women are part of every group. We have a lot of groups before this, as NCWS is the mother group of every other women groups. So I'll encourage women to come in because it's going to be their voice.
The national president of the NCWS says the swearing-in exercise is an important step towards empowering women groups in Gombe.
I will advise the Gombe State chapter to start by the local government mobilization, that is formation of local government chapters, so that they have everything on ground. You know, we have all our 774 local government areas, so they will make sure that Gombe State local government areas too are back to life, so that collectively they will work with the state executive and they will bring back the old glory of the council in the state. We've been contributing, and if you look at our number, you will know that women are part of Nigerian development. You cannot leave us behind and achieve because we have the good number.
Lauding Governor Inuwa Yahaya for ensuring greater inclusivity for women in his government, the women say they have a renewed vigor for participating in the upcoming local government elections.
Our executive governor, Alhaji Muhammad Inuwa Yahaya, is a he governor. Any of his appointment, you can hardly see an appointment, even if it is 3 people without woman inclusive. I think he is the best governor so far. At his last tenure, we never had a councillor, chairperson of a local government, but we have it in his last tenure. Every local government is represented, every ward is represented. We have women councillors, we have women chairpersons, we have women advisors. So I think women are carry a lot in this government.
As the National Council for Women's Societies tries to renew its formation and pursuing gender welfare issues and greater inclusion, it is hoped that women will be more visible in Gombe governance.
Still ahead on the news at 10, the Central Bank of Nigeria and Ministry of Finance deny any plan to convert $30 billion domiciliary account deposits into Naira. That's on Business News. Join us again. Welcome back. The application of technology in every judicial process makes it easy to have access to information, enable swift and accurate research, and improve justice delivery. However, the Nigerian judiciary currently falls short of the required level of information communication technology in its operations compared to its counterparts in other parts of the world. In this special report, our judiciary correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, looks at the challenges facing the integration of technology into the nation's judicial system.
For a very long time, the Nigerian legal system, particularly the courts, have adopted the manual method of operation. Court processes are filed manually. This is against what is obtained internationally, where the process is done digitally. In the open courts, judges still handwrite the proceedings, and most of the courts are not connected to the internet. The proceedings of the court are not broadcast live to the public or recorded. However, the court uses public address system for the proceedings. Technology, especially information and communication technology, now plays a huge role in legal practice. It is becoming increasingly clear that technology is a requirement for an effective and efficient legal education and practice. Before now, our laws did not recognize electronically generated evidence, but with the Evidence Act 2011, that has changed. According to some legal minds, some of the factors responsible for the slow pace of integrating technology into Nigeria's judiciary includes funding.
I think one of the major challenges might be attributed to inadequate funding of the judiciary. Because when you're talking about technology, technological infrastructure now, you need a lot of funds, to be able to achieve some of those things. So the questions we should be asking ourselves is that how well is judiciary funded?
We are having so many problems because, as of today, it's extremely difficult for a common man to get justice in this country. And all these things that you are looking into, but it goes beyond the judiciary itself, because the money is going to be made available by the executive. And after making it available, we have to ensure that the money is being spent on what those things are budgeted for.
Applying ICT in the judicial and legal process will increase efficiency, promote easy research, and allow for easier information retrieval, and in the long run, reduce stress and enhance the health of judicial officers. Ultimately, it will expedite the dispensation of justice.
The artificial intelligence, which is everywhere now, and part of the question is, how will it aid our practice? There should be continuous training. Yes, very important. There should be continuous training and sensitization of our judges.
As the courts rise, the pace at which we are supposed to finish a case is delayed. The case that should be done in 5 minutes can take up to an hour because my lord is still writing in longhand. So now the National Assembly have done something wonderful by insisting that the funds of the judiciary should be increased. I pray this is utilized judiciously by the judiciary so that at the end of the day, this basis you outside can see and complain about will not be what we will see.
A few courts already have some computers, and some judges have been trained in the integration of technology in the nation's judicial system. Stakeholders in the sector are hoping that the process is fully applied across all cadre of the nation's courts. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has won the New Telegraph Governor of the Year Award for Courage in Leadership. Addressing journalists after receiving the award at the Federal Palace Hotel in Lagos, Governor Mbah says it's pleasing that the little effort of the Enugu State government in the last 6 months has been recognized by the organizers.
I'm truly delighted and honored that we're part of this ceremony, the 2024 edition of the New Telegraph Award ceremony. We're particularly humbled that our modest efforts, in a very short time of our journey towards Enugu's greatness is being noticed, and that is already receiving accolades. So we're deeply grateful and thankful to the organizers and the staff, the board, the management, and the staff of the New Telegraph. So we recognize when we assumed office that if we're going to achieve the exponential growth that we have proposed to our people, that we must address the issue of insecurity. So we immediately set forth at dawn and identify insecurity as the biggest elephant in the room. So we mobilized the security agencies with my commitment team, and through the tireless efforts of these security agencies, today we are living in a peaceful and tranquil environment where we can work and do business in Enugu State.
Healthcare delivery in Bauchi State appears to be receiving more attention, with over 45,000 pregnant women across more than 80 public health facilities set to receive multiple micronutrient supplementation, MMS. The objective is to improve maternal nutrition and combat the challenge of maternal mortality. This was made known as the official launch of the implementation of the Reset project for optimizing nutrition for pregnant women in 3 local government areas of the state. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu, has this report.
This ceremony marks the official launch of the Implementation Research Project for optimizing adherence to multiple micronutrient supplementation, also known as MMS, for pregnant women in Bauchi State. The project is funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in collaboration with the Bauchi State Government, the Federal Ministry of Health and Nutrition International.
7% of women are autistic.
The country director of Nutrition International, Dr. Osita Okonkwo, spoke about the project and explains that this is a trial to transition from iron folic supplements to MMS. He says MMS has been proven to be more effective and efficient.
There are no significant difference in reported side effects between alpha and MMS. No known evidence of serious adverse effect with MMS. Also in trials, there are no difference in adherence to alphas versus MMS. All pregnant women is expected to receive doses of 180 tablets throughout the pregnancy, and above all, it's going to be free of charge.
I have the honor to invite His Excellency Senator
During his speech, the governor, represented by the secretary to the state government, Barrister Ibrahim Kashim, assured that the state will fulfill all its obligations to ensure the successful implementation of the project.
The project would not only provide MMS to 45,000 pregnant women across the 3 identified local governments of Gia A, Ganjua, and Das, but will also support an improvement in pregnancy outcomes and antenatal care services across 84 public health facilities in the state. 1, 2, 3.
Over 900,000 bottles of the supplement, which serves as an alternative to iron folic acid, are being distributed to health facilities across the selected local government areas.
And they come back with it during follow-up.
Hajara Adiyu, Channels Television News.
Now to company news. Stanbic IBTC Holdings has officially unveiled the new Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers Head Office in Lagos. The green-rated towers, where sustainability meets innovation, is an achievement the group says it's proud of.
Sitting pretty on 3 Walter Carrington Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, is the Stanbic IBTC Towers, a 12-floor office building that is the new headquarters of Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers, and it is one that embraces sustainability and innovation.
This building is really something very special. I'm told it's a grade A building. They have used natural light very well. It has a creche, it has a gym, it has a wellness center. So it is, for me, a great contributor to employee value proposition for people who work here. And they'll really be proud to work in this building, and even the layout of the open plan is fantastic.
The journey began in 2018, but the groundbreaking of the project was in 2020. By December 2023, the building was officially completed and handed over by the contractor. And now, it's open for business. A tour of the building showcases the wellness and eco-friendly features it has, and how Stanbic IBTC prioritized the environment and excellence for not just customers, but staff as well.
This 2024 is actually 20 years of contributory pension scheme. And for the market leader in the industry, with about 40% market share, right, to be marking the 20th anniversary of this pension industry with this kind of a building is really a demonstration, right, of how vibrant, that this industry is.
This is a project at Stanbic IBTC that we're very proud of. It's been years in the making. We're very proud that it's the first Green Star, 4-star certified building in the country, in Nigeria. It just shows Stanbic IBTC's commitment to sustainability.
The new Green Star rated building is a demonstration of Stanbic IBTC's commitment to fostering growth and development of Nigeria's financial system.
Let's cross over to Willie Bong for the latest in the world of business.
Thank you, Melinda, and welcome to Business News. And the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and the Federal Ministry of Finance have refuted alleged media reports that government plans to convert $30 billion fund held in depositors' domiciliary accounts into naira. In a statement released by both the CBN Governor, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, and the Finance Minister, Mr. Wale Edun, described the reports as fake news, as the federal government had no such intention. Earlier in the week, reports had earlier emerged that the federal government is considering a policy that will result in the conversion of foreign currencies in domiciliary accounts of citizens to naira to stabilize the national currency, which recorded its worst performance in history, especially in the official window a few days ago. The alleged plans had also speculated that the government was expected to convert these foreign currencies at a rate designated by the central bank. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the Tinubu administration is committed to implementing macroeconomic reforms aimed at curbing inflation, easing the cost of living, and stabilizing the foreign exchange. The minister, who stated this in Minna, Niger State, at the 2024 Press Week of the Niger State chapter of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, explained that the federal government's recent decision to relocate certain departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the headquarters of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, to Lagos is part of a broader strategy to enhance operational efficiency, streamline processes, and ensure a responsive financial system for Nigeria and cut operations costs. The minister also announced that the federal government would soon unveil comprehensive details of the National Values Charter, which is aimed at inculcating values in the citizenry. Now, the foreign exchange trading at the FMDQ exchange, still talking about the dollars, closed positive this week as the total turnover of transactions carried out rose by more than 100% week-on-week as at February the 2nd. And the week-on-week increase in the total turnover was largely driven by the over 108% or $489.75 million increase in FX spot turnover and over 2,000% surge in FX derivatives turnover. Meanwhile, on the other side of the market, and that's talking about the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Fixing, NAFEX, the Naira depreciated by 36.75% to 1,445 Naira 69 kobo against the dollar at the official exchange rate window, in contrast to 914 Naira 44 kobo recorded in the previous week. Now to the NASD Securities Exchange, where it ended in the green zone for the week as the market's key index recorded a 6.31% increase, while the market's capitalization also rose by the same margin, which translates to 90 billion naira in value terms over the previous week's close. The gains were supported by 6 advancers, which are Aradel Holdings, Food Concepts, Arcan Petroleum, NIPCO, Afriland Properties, and Friesland Campina Wamco, which offset the loss in industrial and general insurance. However, the volume of securities traded on the OTC exchange dropped by 28.72%. The value traded was up by 119.4%, while the number of deals carried out from 12 securities fell by 23.3%. And for the domestic stock market, it ended the week with impressive gains despite 2 sessions of significant profit-taking activities by investors. The all-share index closed the 5 trading sessions with 1.97% increase, which brings its year-to-date performance to 39.6%, while the total value of listed equities closed the week higher by 2% to well above 57 trillion naira. These gains were largely driven by bellwether equities from the industrial and consumer goods, which countered the impact of losses from their peers in the banking, insurance, as well as the oil and gas sectors. The share price of Triple G topped a list of 27 gainers for the week with a 42.05% increase. Dow Communications led 63 other losers with over 22% decline on its share price, while the trio of FBN Holdings, Transcorp, and UBA were the lead contributors to a total of 3.89 billion shares traded for more than 95 billion naira this week. And that's a wrap on Business News. It's back to Melinda for the rest of the news at 10.
thanks, Will. Now let's move over to our Abuja studios, where Victoria Longjohn is standing by with the latest on the polls.
Well, thank you, Melinda. Welcome to Sports News. A backheel goal by Umar Diakite in added time at the end of extra time has given host Ivory Coast a 2-1 win over Mali in Bouaké after a dramatic Africa Cup of Nations quarter-final. Reduced to 10 men by a red card at the end of the first half, the Ivory Coast team fell behind in the second half to Enene Dogela's goal. Substitute Simon Adingra equalized in the 90th minute to drag the game into extra time before Diakite dealt a knockout blow to the Malians and sent the Ivorians into the last four. Ivory Coast will now face DR Congo in the semi-finals at the Alassane Ouattara Olympic Stadium in Abidjan on February 7. And in the English Premier League, Gerard Braithwaite scored a dramatic equaliser deep into injury time following Richarlison's double to salvage a point for Everton against Tottenham Hotspur at Goodison Park. Substitute Harvey Barnes marked his return from a long injury with a goal to rescue a point for Newcastle United in an extraordinary 8-goal thriller against Luton Town. David Fofana scored twice on his home debut as Burnley came from 2-0 down to draw with Fulham at Turf Moor. Brighton scored 3 first-half goals as it defeated rivals Crystal Palace comfortably to heap pressure on Crystal Palace boss Roy Hodgson. Aston Villa dismantled Sheffield United to move back into the top 4 with a thumping victory. And Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta believes the Gunners can claw their way back into the title race when leaders Liverpool visit the Emirates on Sunday. Arsenal trail Liverpool by 5 points at the top of the table as they aim to win the league title for the first time in 20 years. Arsenal were top when the sides drew 1-0 at Anfield in December last year, but went on to lose 3 consecutive games to West Ham United and Fulham around the turn of the year. However, the team has bounced back since a winter break with victories over Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest.
There are moments that you provoke certain things, and other things that the opponent's behavior dictates what the game requires and what actually you can do. But we were still the team that defended against more deep blocks last season, so it's nothing new, you know. And still we score goals in different ways in the last 2 weeks as well, which is great to see. So it's a game that we want to win, and we have to earn the right to win it. And in order to do that, we're going to have to do so many good things, because there is a reason why they are there, but as well there is a reason why we are where we are.
And Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has confirmed that Darwin Núñez is a major doubt for his side's trip to Arsenal on Sunday as they look to open an 8-point lead in the title race. Núñez has suffered a foot problem and will be a big miss for Klopp, with Mohamed Salah still sidelined by a hamstring injury. Victory over Arsenal could be a knockout blow to the Gunners' chances of a first league title for 20 years. But Klopp is more concerned by the threat posed by Manchester City as the champions aim to defend their title for a 4th consecutive season. West Ham United manager David Moyes has confirmed they are still without forwards Lucas Paqueta and Mikel Antonio for their trip to Old Trafford against Manchester United on Sunday. Moyes said Vladimir Soufal could start at right back, having served his suspension, while Nayev Aguerd is back following his participation at the Africa Cup of Nations. West Ham United are aiming to do the double over Manchester United, but their form has dipped in recent weeks. But Moyes believes the Hammers can reverse the negative trends. And that's it on Sports News. Is back to you, Melinda.
Many thanks, Victoria. On the international scene, Iraq has warned that the retaliatory strikes by the United States will bring disastrous consequences for the Middle East region, and that civilians were amongst the 16 people killed. The United States launched strikes on 85 targets in Syria and Iraq in response to last Sunday's drone attack on its military base, killing 3 U.S. soldiers. The United States says its strikes were targeted at Iran-backed militia groups. President Joe Biden has said the action will continue at times and places of choice. Iran has denied involvement in the attack on the U.S. base, calling the accusations baseless. 3 people have been injured in a knife attack at a major train station in Paris, France. One of them suffered serious stomach injuries during the stabbing, which took place this morning at the Gare de Lyon. A suspect identified as a Malian, but with an Italian driver's license, is in police custody. There have been several knife attacks in Paris in recent times. In December, a tourist was killed and 2 others injured near the Eiffel Tower. A 42-year-old man in the U.S. state of New Mexico has pleaded guilty to helping a defeated Republican candidate carry out drive-by shootings at the homes of Democrats. The defendant, Demetrio Trujillo, says the candidate, Solomon Pina, hired him after failing to win a seat in the state legislature in November 2022. For several weeks after the election, the residences of several Democratic officials were attacked in the Albuquerque area. In a plea agreement with the federal prosecutors, Mr. Trujillo admitted to 5 charges, including conspiracy, election interference, and using a firearm. Mr. Pina has denied the charges against him and is due to stand trial in June. And the main news again. INEC today conducted rerun and by-elections in 26 states across the Federation. While the polls were judged peaceful, the electoral umpire suspended the exercise in 1 federal constituency in Akwa Ibom and 2 state constituencies in Enugu and Kano over hitches experienced in the states. The police have arrested a 12-man gang that specialized in printing various denominations of local and foreign counterfeit currencies in Gombe, vowed to prosecute suspects. That's the news at 10 tonight. I'm Melinda Akinlami. On behalf of the team, good night.